Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another Thirsty Thursday. I hope everyone's having an awesome week and an awesome day so far. So, in today's episode, what we're going to be talking about is marketing and sales for MSPs, IT consultants, or anyone at that. If you're trying to sell or do a funnel or do any fun stuff like that in the technical world, we're going to have some answers tonight. So, if you guys have any questions, you know the deal. Just put it in the comments, and we'll get to you whenever we can. And yes, so tonight we have an awesome guest, a buddy. His name is Harrison, and he'll introduce himself and do all his stuff. But yeah, welcome, and let me bring him in. Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey,
How's
what's up,
everything
man?
going?
Another day in paradise, brother. We're getting to the good weather. I can't complain.
Yeah. And obviously, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Hopefully, your week is going well. So, for those people that don't know who Harrison is and what he's about and what you do, what's up? Who are you? What do you do?
This is always the weirdest question because I'm never prepared for this one. Although I've answered it many times. I usually just tell people that are the normal people. I'll usually just say, hey, I do digital marketing. But for lately, I created a YouTube channel a handful of years ago, and then started making a couple videos and made a couple videos that kind of took off in the MSP world. So an MSP is a managed service provider. What they specialize in is helping businesses with their IT support, right? Businesses need to run smoothly. In order to run smoothly, they have to be able to use their computers efficiently. And that is something that a lot of businesses, hopefully don't overlook. But I made a couple videos and people kind of demanded that I help them with growing their business and figuring out sales and marketing. And I've taken, I've done quite a few things in the MSP world. I've taken a company from about $2 million to $6 million in sales. I've helped tons of MSPs grow their business, start their business. I've helped over a dozen cross into the 8-figure mark. So it's been really, really cool. It's been a really cool journey to be a part of all of this and help different people. And actually, funny enough, so with my YouTube channel, one of my old coworkers kind of found it, and he's like, "Dude, found the YouTube, man. Love it. You're killing it." He goes, "I was actually looking for information about a certain topic, and your stuff came up, and I've been binge watching it. So it's pretty cool. And that's kind of, I guess, the new industry that I was a part of. I started the digital marketing company almost 5 years and 11 months ago, and now it's kind of turned into this wild ride of helping technology businesses grow and scale and become something that they really want it to become."
That's awesome. So, obviously, like you said, it's a managed service provider. So, obviously, a lot of my audience is into cybersecurity and hack and sacking and all that fun stuff. So, for those, maybe if you want to start an MSSP, like managed security service provider, is that something you can help with as well? Or, because I
100%.
think at the end of the day, a sale is a sale, the funnel is a funnel, but that's not my expertise. I'm a security guy. That's all I am.
It's all good. So yeah, I mean, So I think a lot of people don't think of MSPs as as a services based business, and I've seen this, and people have a really hard time swallowing this pill. But an MSP, at the end of the day, is a managed service provider with the S. You're providing a service, and
Mhm.
a service is just like a pest control company. It is just, it's any service-based company. It could be a dog poop, it could be picking up dog poop, whatever service that you're actually providing. It's not a physical good, right? I'm going to hold up some
Mhm.
vitamins here, but it's not vitamins, right? There's no physical product attached to it. It's a service that's provided. And at the end of the day, while yes, we do cool stuff in technology and we have a lot of fun and all that good stuff, there's a lot that people don't really realize when it comes to, you are actually still providing a service for somebody, and because of that, you have to think like a service provider. You're leveraging other people's time to grow your business, in most cases, and there's a lot of money to be made in the MSP world, but you have to be able to know how to make it. You have to know how to make the sale. There is a lot that goes on to it, and there's, just like in every business, there's a lot of people that make a ton of money, and there's a lot of people that don't make a lot of money, and I just try to help make as many businesses a lot of money. I'm not I'm good at tech. I'm definitely not a tech expert. I'm a sales, marketing, and business operations expert for sure.
Awesome, awesome. And that's definitely some good information, right? So you made a very, very good point right there. You said you want to make companies succeed, but then some companies fucking they fail. They hit the ground. They're like, so what is different or what is differentiator between a successful business and the one that says fuck? Like, why would I fail versus why would I be successful?
Sure. So there's a lot that comes down to it, right? And this is actually something I see all the time with, between our Discord and new businesses. It's kind of a multifaceted thing. It's usually rarely one thing is the one thing that tanks a business, although one thing can.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes down to sales. They don't know how to sell their services.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to marketing. They don't know how to market their services and get new leads and new customers. And then last but not least, they don't know how to price themselves appropriately. Because
Mm-hmm.
when a lot of people, when they start a business, they feel they have imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Full transparency, I had the exact same thing at one point. But the thing that a lot of people don't realize is everyone has imposter syndrome, especially when they're first starting off, because you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you're doing something kind of wrong in a weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case. And while it's much easier said than done, you really are providing. And the cool part is most of the time you truly do believe that you're the best provider for that industry. You're the best to do it in that industry. You
Mm-hmm.
know that you can help people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting over that hump and getting over that fear. And then after that, it's really just figuring out the business that you're going to go into. It's understanding the business that you want to have, and then
Mm-hmm.
it's chasing that relentlessly. And then I just try to help them and pave them a roadmap basically to get there to the best of my ability, right? I try to teach and educate to help expedite the actual growth, because I see a lot of businesses that do things really, really wrong. I see some businesses do things really, really right, but it's usually it's businesses just doing things wrong and then without a helping hand, right? Business coaches are there for a reason. They're just, while yes, they might not have all the experience in the world, Tiger Woods has a coach. There's a reason for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying you got to go hire a coach, but at least join a mastermind, a community that could actually help you grow and reach the goals that you're trying to achieve. And then after that, it's all about execution, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are supposed to be better at your coach than a lot of things, right? You don't see Tiger Woods' coach playing in the PGA, but he knows what to look for. He knows what to see. He knows how to tweak. Hey, you're twisting your hips wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Your finger placement's incorrect. And those are the things that I try to be for the MSP world, is just that guiding light and getting their stuff dialed in so that way they can really crush it. And more so, and I don't want to just say it's about me in the MSP world, but those are the things. And it doesn't matter what business you're in. It doesn't matter if you're in the pest control business, in you're a contractor or anything like that. But if you can find people that have either paved the way, they understand what to look for, life becomes so much easier for them.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's super, super good information, and thank you for that. And yeah, because I have buddies of mine, I have friends, and some people that try to do whatever, some IT consulting, maybe some tech work, maybe some stuff like that, and it just goes fucking shit. Because a lot of them, like myself, are very technical, right? We're super technical. We try to do everything in our willpower to try to make a business work for whatever reason, like InfoSec Pat, right? Like I have my little coaching, outside of my full-time position, I do my little things. And here we are today, and just networking and helping folks. And just, my mission is to help as many people as I can to get from, John the Baker to, entry-level IT, entry-level cybersecurity. And that's my mission, right? Is because there's a lot of cybersecurity folks, a lot of cybersecurity positions open with not a lot of folks to fill, right? So, and there goes that piece, since we'll stay on that MSP segment. If there's organizations that are saying, okay, there's a lot of breaches going on, there's a lot of hackers and crazy people out there that just trying to steal your shit. Now, instead of going out there and saying, okay, I need to pay for $100,000, $120,000 for a SOC analyst or someone out there, that's where I think, okay, now you can get some, and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. Now, because I don't know what the pay is for MSSPs and MSPs, but say, for example, $120,000 for like a SOC analyst, right? A security operations center guy that's looking at your alerts, looking at all your stuff, making sure your shit is good. Now you can say, okay, that's 120, that's about 10 grand a month, but before taxes. Now you can say, okay, I'm going to hire Joe Blow, the MSP company, to monitor my shit for like fucking 5 grand a month. And what is that? 60,000 a year. That's half, right? So it's like, okay, why should people go with MSPs versus saying, fuck it, I just want to hire Joe Blow internal, pay him 120,000, or maybe an MSP, pay him $60,000. Why should I go with an MSP versus have an internal IT guy?
So this is a good question. So the answer is you don't know if they should, right? Mm-hmm. And this goes back to sales, right? Yes, there's good and bad advantages to both, right? You can, if you hire an MSSP, you have the ability to not have to worry about training that employee, making sure they have the appropriate tools. All of the things associated with employee. You got to put, when you hire somebody internally, you got to pay benefits, you got to pay taxes, you got to pay workers' comp, and all of these different things. Those are all parts of owning a business. Surprise, surprise, if you didn't know already. So it really comes down to a case-by-case basis. In some cases, having an internal team is great. It's sometimes it's what you actually need. And then there's other times where you can't outsource anything, because then if you outsource it, you can't have full control over it. Mm-hmm. Some people really enjoy having full control over things, or they really want to know that, hey, we have an internal team of people. Yeah, we know we're going to pay a little bit more for it. But look, nobody needs a Ferrari.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, what do you need a Ferrari for? You really don't need a Ferrari. But there's a ton of people that have Ferraris, right? Not every business needs something, but it really comes down to a case-by-case basis. There's a good book I've been talking about quite a bit lately, and it's actually been a little while since I've read it, but it's called The Psychology of Money. And you're probably thinking, Harrison, how does this relate? Hear me out. In The Psychology of Money, the book, they talk about everybody's financial path and financial knowledge is drastically different, right? Mm-hmm. And what you might think is a really bad idea or bad financial plan or decision might be a really good financial decision for somebody else, but you don't know because you're not wearing the same shoes as they are, and you haven't had the same experience as they are, and you don't know their full financial situation. Even when you do, you still don't quite know all of the information that you actually need. Now, how do I tie this back, right? The thing is every business is different. It's just the nature of the beast. Some businesses, some business owners want to be able to have full control 24/7, 365 over their entire team. And other businesses are like, no, as long as I know that I'm being secured and everything's okay, there's no need to get involved in other stuff. It just wouldn't make sense, right? So it comes down to, and that's part of that sales process, right? Because you can't, just like a Ferrari, not everyone's going to be a customer. Not everyone needs a Ferrari, right? I don't think anybody actually needs a Ferrari, but I'm not saying that they're bad cars, because they're very, I'm sure that they are fantastic to drive, although I'd like to drive one. But it's the same thing. It's everyone's experiences are different. It's everyone's feelings are different. Everyone's emotions are different, right? I had a house fire in this house, the house I'm currently in, back in 2022, right? My thoughts, and I was a fireman for 10 years. I'm actually about to join back up. I'm really excited about it. My thoughts have changed. You always think, well, it's not going to happen to me. I was a goddamn fireman running into buildings on fire and doing all of the crazy things that firemen do. And don't get me wrong, I loved it, but you never think it's going to happen to you until it actually does. And it's the exact same thing. And that's the worst part. Like, my experience, right? Now I tell everyone, I'm like, just do the bare minimum. You don't have to do a lot, but fire extinguisher in your house, if you don't have one already, and go get a Simply Safe alarm system, just something for your house, right? With smoke detectors that can call the fire department. I don't care if you break into my house, as long as my dogs are okay. Now you break into my house and the dogs get out and they get hit by a car, I'm going to jail too. But that's besides the point, right? My experiences are vastly different than everyone else's. So it's the exact same thing. Should you hire somebody internally? You might think, Of course, you absolutely need to hire, or you might say, no, you should hire an MSSP. That's the stupidest thing in the world. But their experiences might dictate a very different conversation. And that's what a good sales process is about learning and understanding and putting yourself in those shoes and really figuring out, is it really worth me trying to force and push them into the sale? And you probably can. But when you do, they're usually not going to be happy customers, or they're not going to be the most loyal customers, or they're always going to feel like they're just not getting the service that they should get, even though they are, just because of their past experiences. And that's what makes a really good salesperson versus a really bad salesperson, is that discovery phase of understanding what's going on, how that person's feeling, because people buy emotionally at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's definitely. That's a big pill to swallow, especially like for those, like non-sales personnel like myself, right? I'm not a salesperson. I don't really know much about sales, to be honest. And, like at the end of the day, I don't know how to sell, right? But I think at the end of the day, like even if you're a pen tester, you're a cybersecurity guy, you're a IT support guy, whatever, you still have a customer. At the end of the day, you're still helping someone. You're still and we don't think about that because we're just so technical. We're balls deep into fucking just the technical aspect. We don't think like, okay, this person that we're helping that's calling in, or God forbid they got hacked, and we do an IR and incident response or whatever. We're still utilizing that customer service skill set that maybe you got from fucking Giuseppe's Pizza Parlor down the block. So this is where I think like the skill set, knowing how to talk to people, how to sell yourself. And maybe we can get into that a little bit too, like personal branding.
Sure.
And that, because obviously, that's something that you did for yourself and got yourself out there. But we'll transition to that in a second. But yeah, I think, overall, for the people out there that are trying to start an MSP or just trying to market themselves, like myself, this is how I got in touch with Harrison, right? We got together. I was like, hey man, like, you're doing, I love the way you're doing your videos on YouTube. You got some good shit going on. Like, what can I do different? Because, yeah, I have a decent subscriber count, right? And this is me, and I'm just saying this live right now. Like, I think that subscriber count came from probably 2 videos that, I have like a half of. It's fucking weird because I don't understand YouTube. Still till today, I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube. Because, like, how to hack Wi-Fi or how to hack WPA2 Wi-Fi keys, which I get stupid fucking comments on that too, but that's another story. It has like over 500,000 views, right? So a lot of people probably subscribed when they saw that, right? And I have like 70-something thousand, right? So, and then if I post something like, like before I went to my Romania, I guess I got a lot of, a decent amount of views so far because a lot of Romanians, subscribed to my channel when I was out there. But like, what was the other one? ROE, rules of engagement. When you're doing a rules of engagement, got like a couple hundred views. Like, what the fuck are the other 70,000 people, right? So still to this day, like, how do we get that, market value? If it's YouTube, if it's LinkedIn, if it's Instagram, whatever, the funnel is a funnel, right? You're getting your brand out there. So where does a lot of people fail? Because I feel like sometimes giving up.
Sure.
I just like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, you know how it is to make a video, right? It's like a lot of time. And, like I've been thinking, I talk with Devin or Owned or, so many other people, like, okay, like maybe if I make my videos better, meaning have a little more cool shit going on my video, right? But my way of being is more just like, talk about a topic, showcase the topic, and get the fucking thing out there, right? I'm not into the whole bells and whistles and shit like that, but I think that's what keeps people engaged, right? The whole like, let me keep you engaged, and that's, retention is pretty much the key with YouTube videos and how they get successful and how they're recommended. And or just if the topic is something that's super intriguing for someone, like how to hack your girlfriend's Wi-Fi or how to hack your girlfriend's Instagram. Yeah, that's, everyone and their mother's going to watch that, right? Even if it doesn't have anything to do with it, just because of a clickbait
Sketchy
title.
Sure.
So where does a lot of people fail when they're marketing? If it's whatever, YouTube or any kind of thing?
This is a question I answer probably every single day, and I can make videos till I am blue in the face, and I see this exact same problem every single time. And it's knowing your customer, and in this case, YouTube, it's just knowing your viewer, right? What do they really want to see, right? I've made thousands of, or I shouldn't say thousands, I made hundreds of videos that got a handful of views. Right, like it actually kills me inside. I was going through today because I was talking to somebody and I was like, "Look, you can actually see like when my house burned down, when the whole thing changed. You could literally see it." And it's crazy because people don't like, even I didn't, right? And you have to understand that there's a couple things that happened, right? One, there's competition. You have to understand who your competition actually is, and is it too saturated for you to even like do anything in the space, right? As weird as that sounds. If there's too many people competing in the exact same space, penetrating the market is going to be nearly impossible, right? I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's definitely not the easiest. And sorry if you hear my dogs here.
No, you're good. You're good.
But and then it's knowing your customer, right? I have a thing that I mention on a lot of my YouTube videos called the buyer persona. If you go to my channel and you want it, it's down the links of almost every single video. And the buyer persona is just a form that basically you could fill out. If you had a dream customer, who would that be and what would that look like? And I'll use Ferraris because we all know what Ferraris are, right? A Ferrari is a $200,000 to $300,000 to $500,000 car. Nobody needs to spend that much money on a car. But Ferrari knows that they are going to produce an extremely high-end sports car. Reserve your thoughts of Ferraris, but an extremely high-end sports car that they plan on selling, right, to people that are essentially rich, right? There's no other way to put it. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize is like they know exactly who their customer is. They're not going to complain about the price for the most part. Some of them might not be able to afford the highest end cars that Ferrari sells, but they're not going to complain about the price. They're probably not going to drive the car all that often. They want it to be a truly unique driving experience when you get behind the wheel of a Ferrari. And they know that their buyer is on average, right, a 50-year-old man who appreciates a sports car, who's probably idolized it their entire life, regardless of their path that they've come from, and isn't going to give a hard time about the price. They you don't see a Ferrari dealership in the hood. Just doesn't happen, right? They know that that's not where their target customer hangs out, but you will find a Ferrari dealership in the Nassau County of Long Island, where the average home price is now $725,000, right? Because those people can afford it. So they know who their target customer is. And a lot of times businesses don't understand who their actual target customer is and what they actually value. And if you can figure out what your target customer values and what they appreciate, what they want to buy and all that kind of stuff, you can do anything. And that's the main difference. And you don't have to create a product that's for everyone. That would be silly. You can there's plenty of products and things that you can do and make that would be great for a lot of people, right? I'm focusing on the MSP world. There's only 40,000 MSPs in the country, in the United States at least. That's really not that many in the grand scheme of things, right? And yes, I'm sure there's a couple 100,000 in the world, but I don't have my stuff translated to any other languages, so I have to hope that my stuff is actually reaching the right people and all that. And if I wanted to broaden my audience, I'd have to pull a Mr. Beast and share, and literally get my videos dubbed into other languages, right? That's literally what he does.
Yeah.
So knowing who your target customer is so vitally important. And become an expert in the industry. Whatever industry you pick, it literally does not matter. But most MSPs try to be generalists. And the same thing happens over and over and over and over again. You try to work for everybody. And guess what that means? You're going to learn 100 different softwares. You're going to get super burnt out. You're going to have a hard time training employees because there's so much to learn. It's just incomprehensible. And they're not getting paid crazy amounts of money, right? And that's really where I think a lot of people don't realize that they need to go pick a target market, because when they do, everything starts to click. They can become an expert. They can teach their employees their standard operating procedures. They know exactly the problems that their customers are going to have on a day-to-day basis. They're probably going to build connections that they could call and say, hey, you know what? It's, Harrison from Growth Generators, and, I'm dealing with whatever it is. Could you help me out? Oh, dude, what's up, man? How's the family? And you know them on that personal level.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with them all the time instead of just trying to be everything to everybody. That's the big. Every business is know your target audience, know how they buy, what they buy, and the problems that you can solve, and your business will be infinitely successful.
Yeah, and that's super, super interesting because I have that problem on my YouTube channel, right? And when I first initially started my YouTube channel, it was just to help a few people when I was studying for my PC NSE, which is Palo Alto. It was me and a group of friends studying it. We were shooting videos back and forth, just like, okay, Harrison, you're going to be setting up site-to-site VPNs this week. I'll set up static routing. We've got someone else doing HA, and then we were just exchanging videos. And then one friend was like, dude, why don't you just fucking put these things on YouTube? And I'm like, I don't even know how to use YouTube. Fair enough. Fun fact, before I started YouTube, I didn't even have YouTube on my phone. I didn't even watch YouTube, right? So yeah, I'm very, very different than a lot of folks. Like, I'm not your typical nerd or fucking anything like that. But I was never into it. What am I gonna do? Fucking watch someone? I don't know. It was just weird to me. Like if I wanted to get a piece of knowledge back then, like I would watch CBT Nuggets. I would watch a learning platform where it's like, okay, like I know what I'm getting. But so yeah, with the whole YouTube thing, I was like, okay, like. InfoSec Pat. Okay, like I work in the cybersecurity space, but then like literally like the third or fourth video that I put, I was showcasing how to set up a captive portal with a Wi-Fi pineapple and capturing four-way handshakes and cracking them and getting your Wi-Fi password. I got one strike and I had like 3 subscribers. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, then I started watching YouTube videos. I'm like, okay, how can I learn about this? So I would watch back then I didn't even know TCM existed. I didn't know John Hammond or any of the people that I watch today, but like Hackersploit, that's when I watched back then, or Z Security or Z Security or whatever he goes by. So I was like, these guys are doing the same shit. What the fuck are they? What am I doing different than what they're doing? I'm doing the same shit, like just saying, maybe talking different, So I was like, this is stupid. I'm not fucking doing this. You know what I mean? And then a friend of mine was like, okay, ease up with the hacking shit. Just do something with Cisco. Do something with this. So the point I'm making was I was all over the fucking place. I was doing VMware stuff. I was doing Microsoft stuff. I was doing Cisco, Palo Alto, VMware, everything. And then someone made that comment like, hey, like you should find a niche. But I like to do it all, right? Sure. Like I enjoy it all. So it's like, and I'm like, fuck, like there's a valid point. I'm hard-headed. I'm fucking stubborn as shit. So I'm like, I'm not going to listen to this guy. You know what I mean? I'm just going to do me. And maybe this is why my channel is at 73,000 versus over 100,000, because I'm all over the place. Like if Harrison found this video on how to hack Wi-Fi, for an example, and then the next day I'm fucking putting up, you subscribe to me because you want to learn hacking techniques, right? Mm-hmm. Now you're seeing a fucking VLAN video, or how to set up BGP, or how to set up, EIGRP, or then how to set up, something with VMware or whatever. Active Directory, which is Active Directory is pretty relevant these days because everyone's hacking AD. But that's where, and then I was like, okay, let me hone in more on the cyber. And I think that's where, I started getting more successful or being more recognized. And then what did I do? Fucking stubborn Pat. I started doing more. Like I went back to the whole, I'm going to do my Windows Server 2012 course or playlist, and then go off the fucking rails, So I want to, obviously you do the same niche every video. How do you do that? How do you stay like so fucking like, my mind is at ADD. Like today I'm like, okay, like now talking about MSPs, now I'm like, okay, like I work at MSP. I know MSP. I know RMMs. I know, all these different tools. Now I can make a video on MSP. What the fuck's an MSP and what do they do? Right? I think I actually have one out there. But So how do you stay so focused on your niche versus having ADD and being all over the place?
There's two answers.
Mm-hmm.
One, the appropriate one, is boring makes money. As crazy as it sounds, right?
Fair enough.
Usain Bolt wouldn't be Usain Bolt if he tried to beat Michael Phelps too. Just wouldn't. Can't be the best swimmer in the world and the best runner in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's probably not going to happen, right? And this is something that took a long time for me to digest, and it was definitely advice that I didn't want to take for the longest time. And it's at the same time too, and I also realized that like I knew things that really nobody else knew. Like nobody else had done what I had done. Nobody else had made millions of dollars for an MSP and helped them grow to the level that they did with like literally no guidance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I did go through sales training and stuff like that, but there's like sales training is very generic. It's made for the average salesperson. It wasn't made for MSPs and the service-based business and selling based on value and showing the value that you provide and all these different things, right? So I realized that I knew something that not everybody else knew, and I kind of stumbled into it, to be honest. Like I was just making videos about stuff that I actually found interesting, but that wasn't moving the needle. And then I made these videos, and then people started to actually go and watch them, which was crazy. And then people like I remember specifically, and he's not really into the MSP world anymore, but I'll give him a quick shout out. But this kid Caleb hit me up. And this young kid who was like 19 years old, young. I'm 30, 31 now, but he hit me up and he was like, and I'm like, he added me on Facebook. I'm like, yo, who are you? Like, why are you adding me on Facebook? Like, I keep my Facebook stuff in my personal life. I try to keep it not super private. Like, if you really look into it, I have nothing to hide, but like, I try not to mix too much work with pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who are you? And he's like, dude, I found you on YouTube. You're a massive inspiration to me. I was like, whoa. Like, and this is like kind of when I first started out, and I was like, this is like weird. Like,
Yeah.
I was so like flabbergasted. I know I'm getting caught up because I'm saying like a lot and things that you realize when you do YouTube all day, but I was so caught off guard, and I was like, what? And he's like, dude, your videos are super helpful, man. I didn't think I was going to be able to start an MSP. And now he's gone on. He's like, dude, an MSP is too much for me. And that's fine. Right. But, he's like, and then he was the one that said, can you teach me this? Or can you show me this? He's like, I need you to put out training and all this kind of stuff. He's like, I can't do it myself. And I was, once again, I didn't know what to do. So I just was kind of forced into it, and I just felt bad. I was like, let me go help this guy, right? I've always been helping people pretty much my entire career, and whether that's from firefighting or other things. I was an Eagle Scout too and love that. And I was like, you know what? Let me just make the content for the guy. And every time he asked the question, I said, that'll be tomorrow's video. That'll be tomorrow's video. That'll be tomorrow's video. That'll be tomorrow's video. He was like, you're really going to make this tomorrow? I'm like, it's 1 a.m. I go, it'll be up by the time you have lunch. And I would just grind it out. So I stumbled upon it, and I'm glad I did. And a lot of people figure this stuff out without having to stumble upon it. And a lot of times success you do stumble upon, which is kind of cool. And the other way I stay consistent is I really fucking hate my competitors. That's it. Right. First time I'm cursing on the show for those of you that are counting, but like I hate my competitors. Now, they're not bad people, but I don't appreciate what they teach people. And I think they provide a lot of really bad information that I don't agree with. And because of that, it drives me crazy that they're putting out this information that I know is legitimately not going to help anybody. One of them specifically said they've never even worked for an MSP. Which is crazy to me. And they're teaching MSPs, like, to not even be in it, which is wild, so that drives me nuts. And I don't want them to ever get a leg up on me. So I create videos like a ruthless savage, and I can't stand seeing. I want as many people to win as possible that are doing the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, I am all for it, 100%. But if you are maybe they don't know that they're maliciously doing it, but they have to know that they're doing something completely wrong, or what they're teaching is just so old and outdated, and it drives me nuts. And there are some that are doing a great job, and I love them to death, and I support them to the fullest. But the other percentage of them, I don't want them to have the light of day, because I don't want to see somebody. I got an email a couple weeks ago. It lit a new fire under me. And he was like, dude, I'm about to go homeless because one of your competitors, I'm not going to say who it is, won't let me out of their contract. And we aren't making money. We've implemented everything that they said to implement. And we've been losing money. And now we're locked into this 24-month contract. And I'm probably going to be homeless by the end of the year. And I was like, damn. I need to go make a ton more videos, because if this dude goes homeless and I know I could have had an outcome on him not being homeless, I will never sleep. I will never sleep correctly again for the rest of my life. And that just lit a fire underneath me, on top of all the other ones.
Yeah, damn, that's deep, son. Like that's the kind of shit that drives me as well. Just like, I went to Romania last week. I spoke at a conference. I'm super grateful for B-Side, Transylvania, Christian, the whole gang from over there. So thank you. I already made my thank you video, but there you go. There's another thank you. And just the comments and just like the what's the word, like the impact that you make on others just by just talking. Like I was just shooting the shit for 45 minutes on how to become a pen tester, on a budget, or for free, or, get your free resources, and how to, set up home labs, and what is the importance of getting the hands-on training in this space, right? It's not like doing your CCNA or any kind of other theoretical, stuff that, hands-on is probably 30 or 40% of well, maybe 30% and 70% theory, right? So, and when you're doing pen tests, it's probably 90% hands-on and 10% report writing, right? And doing some, stuff that no one likes. But just the impact, and I've gotten some interesting, emails or comments on Facebook or LinkedIn, like if I didn't find your video, and it's so weird because you talk to a camera and you just upload it and you never know who you're touching. And I didn't realize that until probably about a year ago, probably a little more than a year ago. I think just before I went to DEF CON last year. And I would get like little messages like, dude, like I was at work, and this is more my system admin stuff, right? Like I was at work and I was trying to set up, DFS or distributed file system. And I found your video on DFS, and we were able to get these map drives and get everything working. So to file servers replicate, right? And I'm like, my fucking video? Like, cool. That's awesome. Like, and then you realize, fuck, like you're really making an impact. And I was same way, dude. Like, always enjoyed helping people since I was a jit, son. Like since I was a little kid, like I'll play hardball, or handball or whatever. I don't even think they have fucking handball down here, but like I guess they call it squash or whatever the fuck they call it. But like handball, like, and just go to the park and just help people how to smack the ball harder, or where to kill it. Make sure you make the ball roll on the floor, or whatever kind of technique you're doing. And I transitioned to bowling. And then, yes, I did bowl for a long time. And then like teaching people how to bowl and skate, and now doing this today. So it's always like an interesting thing that making an impact on someone's life is so fucking touching, dude. Like you don't really realize it until you're in it. And like being a firefighter, you just take a little fucking kitty cat out of the house, or a dog, like you said about your dog. I think I would, do the same thing with my, I never fucking had a cat in my life. Now I have a little kitty cat. Now I'll fucking kill someone for that cat, It's really weird. But yeah, man, like it's just an interesting world that we live in, that we don't really know who we're touching until, someone gives you a shout out, and it's like, fuck, it's so touching. And yeah, man, that's super, super interesting. I don't know if there's any questions. I haven't really been looking at the chat, to be quite frank.
We got a whole crew of people in here. We got some MSP people. I see some names I haven't seen before. But I appreciate everybody for hanging out. Appreciate the respect for being a firefighter, by the way. Excited to get back into it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, so about I guess I wanted to ask a question, just slipped me. So I guess like you were saying stuff about, funnels and sales. How does people get started in that? Like how can someone say like, okay, we're failing because we're just putting stuff, hey, I started an MSP, hire me because I'm the best, but I have one client. Or hire me, I'm the best and I have 1 million clients and I'm making $1 billion a year. So where can people be successful? Like you said, like this guy, God forbid, he couldn't eat or going homeless. And now it's like you made an impact on that dude's life, hopefully. And now if you're ever watching this dude, I don't know who the fuck you are, but hopefully you're not eating ramen noodles and you're good to go. But like, yeah, what's your feedback? What's your take on that?
It comes back to knowing who your target market is. You
Yeah.
gotta know. At the end of the day, I get super excited. So, for example, one of my I don't even know what I guess we'll call them heroes. Legitimately, like one of my heroes. I have a program called MSP Heroes. It's pretty cool, and he was on today for the live session, and we're chopping it up, and he hired somebody, and he's like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I kind of told her, you know, everything that I wanted to do, and she's like, you got to be more specific, and he's like, Harry always says you got to be more specific than what
Yeah.
I'm trying to give.
Yeah.
And it's true. You like, and I go, whoever you hired is legit and they know what they're talking about, because if they're asking you to be more specific, that is really good, because that means that's usually like, I've kind of realized in a weird way, that's like the telltale sign that people know how to do marketing, or at least like the basics of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
And that was amazing, because I was like, finally, somebody is hiring somebody, or somebody was in, and I heard another story of somebody interviewing somebody else. Of course, Amazon shows up at this hour. But most people never take the time to figure out who their dream customer is. If somebody was going to give you millions of dollars, what does that person look like?
Mm-hmm.
And the funnel is just the process that you go through to actually like make the money, right? It's just think of a funnel, right? You have awareness all the way up top, then they have interest and research that they're doing, right? And then they have a commitment, right? In most of the funnel world, it's usually downloading something, exchanging contact information because they want to learn more information, and then it's going through a series of emails and getting more value and doing more research, and then making them an offer at the end so they can put money in the bank, right? And I carry my absolute, and I know some of my subscribers that are on here are going to laugh because I show this in half the videos, but like fat stacks of cash, right? That's really it. They want to give you money. By the way, for anyone that's not a subscriber of mine, this is all movie theater money, and it says motion prop money on the front of it. None of this is actually real. Life is a lie. But and I would also never display $30,000 just sitting there, because we are the entertaining house on my block. But like the funnel is just the method of getting people through to you, and it's the same thing with sales. You have a sales funnel as well. You have to they have to go through an entire process to ultimately get to the answer or the desired outcome that they're looking for, and hopefully that desired outcome matches what you're actually selling. And that's
Mm-hmm.
really it. Like the funnel is just the machine that actually gets them through to put money in your pocket. But other than that, it's really nothing special otherwise. I used to think funnels are like really, really important. You don't need a special software to build it. You could build it all on most website builders. It makes it easier to have something. I use Go High Level.
Yeah.
And if you want a referral code and you want to help support me, it's always on the bottom of every YouTube video. But like it just makes it easier. You can build it out. You can build out the email automations, but it's really just getting somebody from point A to point B to make a decision, and hopefully that decision is to buy from you and not somebody else, because they're gonna end up buying anyway. It's just whose pocket are they probably gonna put the money into.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds so silly, but you really have to know who your target customer is, because more than likely you already know what you can teach them, how you're going to teach them, all of that good stuff, or how you're going to provide the services that you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
providing. That literally, it sounds crazy what I'm about to say, doesn't matter, right? My best friend, who I'm about to go see after this podcast, right? He owns a bounce house company. The person's gonna get a bounce house, whether it's from him or somebody else. It literally doesn't matter. They've made up their mind that they're gonna get a bounce house. But
Yep.
how are they going to find him? Right. In this case, they're going to find him on Google Ads, or they're going to find him on a website or something like that. And they might go to his website and say, you know what, I'm interested. Right. And I just got a nice new Amex card, so I'm going to use it. They're going to get a piece of paper and they're going to learn all about it. Right. So I got the Amex Platinum, no surprise. And, put your card to hard work. And then it tells you, like, let's set up your card. The process that I'm going to go through as the customer for Amex. It's the exact same thing, but I'm just already now a customer. Now think of it on the front end. I still need to learn all the benefits of the card and how I can use it and how it's going to help my life, and with the benefits that I'm going to get for traveling and all of that stuff that comes with it. I hate using the word stuff, but it's true. It's just stuff that you're getting, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same process. They're gonna buy. It's just a matter of from who and whose marketing's better and who's giving, who's teaching the most and who's giving away the most free knowledge and all these things. Those are the things that come down to it. The funnel's just the means to getting the customer to making a decision in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a good point because, I think I've mentioned this a few times in maybe some videos. I don't know about live, but like there's some courses that I would love to create, right? There's some stuff that, yes, there's a lot of content out there. And that's what really been pushing me off doing it, right? Like, okay, if you want to become a whatever blue teamer, you can go to, blue team level 1 or, let's defend or, there's so many competition out there. It's like, okay, and I put a little, I guess, little teaser or a little thing out there on Sim Solutions. And I'm like, okay, like this, I think that was my first defensive security video set or video series that I've done. But now it's like, okay, like, yes, there's a target audience. Like, I think my target audience would be more entry level, right? Like I want to target those folks that are just getting into the field and not wannabe hackers, not like, okay, you watch Mr. Robot and you know how to run Metasploit and you think, and I think a big thing too is when you're watching any course, like at least in the pen testing world, because I've seen it from, people dogging on, I'm not going to say names, like different companies dogging on them, putting them to shit or whatever. And I'm like, yo, dude, like, if you know that, if you're past that, get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean? Like, if you're Superman, you're not going to go fucking, you have to crawl before you run or whatever, So it's like, if you already have that experience, you shouldn't be there. So that's where, like, I would get those silly questions too, or silly comments. And I'm not like the others. I'll keep that offline. But like I'm not about that internet fucking yappity yap, So, yeah, so like there was some, kids that was, I don't know, fucking nerds on the internet that like saying shit like, oh, you don't know what you're doing because you're doing it this way. Like, yo, like if you know how to do it another way, go fuck out of here. Go do it your way. You know what I mean? Like, so the point being is like, if you're trying to make a course, if you're trying to make whatever, like do it your way. Like, I don't know if Kevin is here today, but like KevTech, right? He does his own thing. He has his little has his movement. He's doing him. Like, that's it. If someone fucking dogs on your shit, bro, like keep doing you. Fuck them. You know what I mean? You have your people, you have your audience that you're focusing on, entry level folks. And this is it. Like, so I think anyone out there that's trying to do whatever, if it's sales, if it's marketing, if it's courses, if it's MSPs, like knowing your niche, and like you said, dude, like I want to actually make a note of that shit and study that, know your audience, because we say that today, but tomorrow I'll forget, right? And it's like, if we don't have that like instilled in our brain, like that's how I go off the hinges. Like like with Devin today, oh, I'm talking about NIST. Let's talk about cybersecurity frameworks. And I'm thinking about fucking Google dorking, Google hacking. Then I'll think about, something else tomorrow. And like, instead of having all this off the rails, and that's what something like you said, having that coach, right? I'm a Ranger fan, fucking Igor or whoever's on the Rangers or, whatever, Panarin, whatever, Chris Kreider or Mika, they're a lot better players than, like the coach, right? They're a better player, but the coach, they're going to be listening to the coach, right? The coach is not going to be listening to them, maybe, but, they're going to do what the coach says, but even though they're the ones that's smacking the puck. So it's same thing, like you said with the whole Tiger Woods thing. It's like, okay, like the coach is seeing it, you're doing it, but they're seeing what's going wrong outside of your lens, you know? So I think having that coach and having that guidance, or whatever you want to call it, a mentor, I think that's super critical in any career, right? Like if you're going through, God forbid, mental stuff, you go see a counselor or a therapist, and that's your, or a life coach or whatever, like just to have different perspectives. And I think that's super important.
I agree. I agree. You know, that's what they're there for. You know, some coaches are better than others, but like, look, if you hire the wrong person, it's not the end of the world. You can always go back and fix it or get a better one later on, or you fire them. It's part of the nature of the, you know, part of the process, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah. So I know we only have like about 10 minutes left. If anyone has any questions for us, if there's anything interesting, you could throw it up there. I haven't seen many of them, but I seen one that I don't, where was it at? Someone was asking about, where was that thing? Something about Bitcoin or something. And
Oh God, I don't know much about Bitcoin.
yeah. So, hey, I think it's here. Hey, emphasize, I lost my wallet, passphrase. All right. So I want to say this, dude. Like, I don't know who you are, but these are the kind of things I get. And I'm putting this up there on purpose, right? This is sort of like asking, to get your girlfriend's password, right? How can I retrieve your passphrase on your Bitcoin? First of all, I don't even use Bitcoin. 90% of the time I just use cash. I'm old school. But yeah, so I don't know. I can't help you there. But so good luck. Maybe you can go on the dark web and go on some telegrams and fucking ask someone. But let's see.
Look, if it was easy to get people's wallets, people would be getting their wallets all day, every day as well. Keep that in mind. You know,
yeah, exactly.
If it's easy, everyone will do it. There's a reason it's pretty darn hard, and you don't hear it happens. Don't get me wrong, but it's pretty darn rare that things like that happen. And it's the same thing for the MSP world too. Like, there's always the what if scenarios and that kind of thing. If it was easy, everyone would do it. Starting an MSP. If it was easy, every tech guy on the planet would start an MSP. It's not easy. I don't sugarcoat it. I try. That's my goal, is to make it easier for people. But at the end of the day, building a business is not easy, but the proper steps will make it easier. And that's the big difference between succeeding and failing in most businesses. That's just kind of the way it works. If you're going to go out there and you want to hack something or learn something, if it was cake to do and you didn't have to spend a lot of time doing it, everybody would do it. But it's the hard work, the repetition, the putting in the process. So even if Pat could tell you or teach you how to do it, it's still not going to be easy. It's just making the process simpler. That's all it is.
Yeah. No, that's facts. That's facts right there. And what up, Rob? How you doing? Rob is from our neck of the woods up north too.
Up north?
Yeah.
You are so New York. It's so funny. Because I have lived there.
Yeah, sometimes it comes harder than others. Sometimes it comes out harder. It all depends. And
you're like city. I can hear the accent. And I grew up there. I was just there a week ago, and I can hear it. It's thick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you should hear. Yeah, my dad. Devin came. He's actually coming over next week. But yeah, my father, he's really out there. Like,
I believe
lives in Brooklyn, still lives in Bensonhurst,
in Italy, baby.
Yeah, is like, hey, it's strong. It's strong. Sometimes it's like you have to really pay attention, and just like. It's funny because I was talking to someone at in Romania, and I was just talking to someone. I'm like, oh, so what time are you going to be here tomorrow? And he didn't understand what I was saying. I was like, yo, so like, tomorrow, or what are you going to do tomorrow? Like, and he's like, I don't know if we're going to the mall. I'm like, no, I didn't say mall. I said tomorrow. And yeah, so it comes out stronger every now and then.
My fiance's dad doesn't put R's in the words. It's windows.
Windows,
Yo,
yeah.
close the windows. Why are the windows open? The
Yeah,
what?
I say the same thing.
What's
And
open?
yeah,
But
and
it's just
sometimes
funny.
you'll hear, like, it's funny because you'll hear, like, I'll try to correct myself. Like if I'm doing a video, like, or sometimes I'll say a video, are you playing video games? And and I'm like, yeah, like if you have Windows or Linux or Mac, I'm like, oh, Windows or this or that.
Windows.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
just it's just funny.
that is pretty
Um,
funny. I will not lie.
yeah, I'm willing to do more competition. Blah, blah, blah. Sales is important. This is a good one. Sales is important to, yeah, that's definitely a good skill to have, and that's something that, you know, I'm still trying to learn. Right, sell myself for InfoSec Pad and doing all this shit. It's a
Oh, I got a good topic. I got a good topic to wrap up
Go
for
ahead.
this. So a lot of people like, we mentioned personal brands before and building a
Yeah,
personal
yeah,
brand.
yeah, yeah. That's when we.
So a lot of people don't realize. So my business actually was called Baron Media Group back in the day. It's no longer Baron Media Group. It's obviously Growth Generators. And one thing that you have to think about when you're doing this branding thing is, and Mr. Beast is a prime example of this, and I'll just use Mr. Beast because I'm assuming everyone knows who Mr. Beast is. It's kind of hard not to. When you're going through this process of building a brand, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is easier to build a personal brand, bar none. But the problem with personal brands is they have a limited resellability. Meaning, if you ever decide to go sell the business at some point and have somebody pay you for it, if it's a personal brand and you are the only thing keeping people there, it's not
Yeah.
really worth much. And a lot of people don't figure this out, or they figure this out way too late. You have to go into owning a business. I shouldn't say you have to, but you have to figure out what you want out of a business and build the business around them. So if you want to own a business, or you want to potentially sell the business and make a ton of money one day and cash out, and the businesses, we'll call it, for lack of a better term, your retirement, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to build a brand. You being the business is very, very challenging. Mr. Beast's channel will live on forever. Same thing with Linus Tech Tips, right? I'm sure
Yeah.
everybody knows who that is, because Mr. Beast is constantly getting other people involved. Where, yes, we all want to see who Jimmy and what Jimmy's doing and all the ridiculous videos that he has. But at the end of the day, you have to build a brand. If you choose to if you have any remote plans on selling the business any day, full
Mm-hmm.
transparency, at some point down the road, I would love to sell my business. Is that road extremely long? Yes. But I'd still like to at least have the option of selling the business down the road. And you have to think about that. Maybe not like a psychopath, and it's the only thing you think about, but you have to keep that in the back of your mind. So building a brand, and you build the brand. The brand does not build itself. If you wrote a check on a wall one day, nobody would assume that it is that it's Nike, right? You have to build the brand that follows it. And a lot of people don't realize that is that's part of the process. So as you're going out and you're building your business, and hopefully it's the business of your dreams, it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, because that's why you go into business, to make more money and get freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You go into it with the intention of, hey, and you should always treat your business that you are preparing to sell it, because one, you might need to, but two, you might want to one day, and you might want to cash out. And instead of doing what, I have a longtime customer of mine, and he can't figure out if he wants to sell his business or not. He doesn't know, and he's kind of in the boat with 1 foot in, 1 foot out of he want, and it's a super successful business. He's just kind of tired of running a business at this point. You have to, his problem now is, if he does decide to sell the business, he really has to wait a couple of years to sell the business to get to the point where he can, it's primed and ready to sell the business, so he can make the most amount of money possible. So when you're
Mm-hmm.
going out and you're building this brand, right? And how you decide to do it, you can have a specific, hey, I am the brand, and that's how it's going to be. And then when I die or I quit, the brand is dead. Or, hey, I want this business to continue. Currently, I am the face of the business. You will see, and I can promise you, in the next 5 to 10 to 15 years, depending on how long we continue to go, you will see a transition. There will be more people on my channel, and I will slowly phase myself out of the channel, so I
Mm-hmm.
can go through and run the business that I want to run. right? And I won't sell it, but I don't want it to have to be vitally attached to me in order to succeed. I want it to be its own living entity outside of what I can produce. And I encourage everyone, even if you don't plan on selling the business anytime soon, to treat it like that, because when you do, things change dramatically for yourself and your business, and the way you treat things. It's only going to help you grow, and it's only going to make you a better business owner, even if you decide to do nothing with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, yeah, and that's a good closeout thing. And just like, for example, we'll use a lot of people on my channel probably know TCM, the Cyber Mentor, TCM Security, and even TCM, right? Like he was, the Cyber Mentor. That was his. This is his YouTube channel, and that's how he started, right? I don't know Heath like that, but I know, like, I watched his channel before he went into business, and now it's like if he sells his business, TCM, like, in my opinion, is like, okay, it's that's why, if anyone sees TCM's videos, it's not really Heath anymore, right? Because he's focusing on getting more clients and getting more education or whatever he's doing outside the scene. Now you have Alex and other content creators on his channel that are producing that content. So I love that you said that. And that's the point. Maybe, obviously not everyone talks to Heath. Not everyone talks to, for example, other content creators that have, other faces on their channel, right? Like I love John Hammond, right? That kid does it all. I don't know how the fuck he does it, but like he's the face of his, John Hammond. He does all his videos, and the kid, Black Hills as well. Yeah, Black Hills is another one, and yeah, like I think that's so true. Like if you have a brand, a personal brand, like InfoSec Pat, right? If I'm not in front of the camera, and but Joe Blow is in front of the camera, like I don't even know. Like this brand, God only knows where it's going to go. I'm going to try to be as successful as possible with the brand and help as many people as I can, and just continue. Hopefully, one day it'll be something, right? Versus just something a little guppy in the sea. But yeah, that's all, pretty much. Hopefully everyone got some information, or it was informative for you folks. If they're starting an MSP, if you work at an MSP, how you can move that MSP from, whatever, if you say 7 figures to 8 figures, or from 6 figures to 7 figures, or maybe even 5 figures to 6 figures, right? There's some, a friend has a little MSP that I know that's making less than 100,000 a year, so maybe that person, I think he's watching it tonight, but like he's, maybe what your insight. And if you want to learn more from Harrison, how can people reach out to you? How can people get to your channel or get in contact with you for, your services? So let's do a little sales pitch before we get the fuck out of here.
Easy enough. If you're interested, if you're just hearing about me, I probably would do a little research on me first. I think it's still important to vet people that you're talking to. But pretty much growth generators everywhere. It is pretty easy to find me. You can go to growth generators on YouTube, growth-generators.com. See what we do. See if it's something that we think you think that we can help you with. We've done everything from consulting to fixing pricing for MSPs to sales, marketing, and all that kind of stuff. So that's I don't want to say it's a pitch, but we are putting together a program that has all of the tools, direct access to me once a week, and it's called MSP Heroes. You'll see it at the bottom of every video and on the website. But just trying to really build a fantastic community of people that really want to grow their MSP. They want to make a lot of money. They want to kind of create the life that they want to live and the business that they absolutely love. And I'm just trying to be the Sherpa that gets them there. That's really it. I just want people to succeed regardless of whether or not you put money in my pocket. I want to see more people win. And I want to make sure that people make good decisions in their business.
Awesome. Yeah. I feel you on that, because I don't do this for money, right? I don't do this for the exposure. I just do it for the people in the community that I'm able to help. Trust me, I don't want to say I have money, but I'm doing all right. I'm not eating ramen noodles every day. But
hey, don't hate on ramen noodles. I had ramen for lunch, brother.
Yeah, actually, ramen's actually good. I like pho.
That's exactly what I had today. But I got love me some ramen.
Yeah, but anyhow, like anyway, whatever. It's getting late. But I want to say thank you so much, Harrison. Hopefully, we'll be in touch. Hopefully, if you with this stream, you can get more traction to your channel and get more business in your pocket. And I really appreciate you tonight. And if anyone has any questions, put it in the comments if you listen to after the fact, and hit up Harrison if you have any questions.
Oh, I do want to add one more thing.
Go for it.
We are at 2994 subscribers. If we can get to 3,000 by then, 6 people that are watching this, if you guys can go hit the subscribe button, I'd love the heck out of you. That's all I'm saying.
Get it. Hopefully, when the Rangers start in an hour and I can come back to your channel, hit refresh, you'll be at 3K.
I love it, brother.
All right. Much love, and thank you so much, everyone, and go subscribe. Peace.
See you guys.